All right, man. Time for a real movie, man. A big movie. You know, I think the last time we were together on this, we did Ant-Man and the Wasp, and that was great. Enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And we just did Creed, like with Beat 'Em Down from the Cult 45 podcast. Shout out to him, which was huge. And now here we are with Scream. So I'm loving this, and it's March. Surprise! So many, you know.
March.
Yeah. What's the summer gonna look like, or are we shooting it early?
Shooting it early.
Shoot it early. So then,
ruining the whole year.
The whole year. Like July, it ain't shit coming out. You know, we like. What?
I do kind of like last year. I felt like a lot of really good movies did come out early in the year. There were still good movies at the end of the year too, but like
they leave it desolate, in my opinion. Later July and August, you know, where the weather is still beautiful, and then they rush all the movies out in May and shit. Like, you know, come on. Stop that.
Yeah, I think they do like a lot of like early season and then like late, like I think there's a lot of good like fall releases for the same reason, right? People are inside or they want to go to a movie theater and
yeah, when the weather's out
warm.
But yeah, always think about us people who get snow. I got a ton of snow today. So Scream 6, 2023, rated R, 2 hours, 2 minutes. So horror mystery thriller. Now listen to this. Listen to this.
Yes. I'm ready.
In the next installment, the survivors of the Ghostface killing leave Woodsboro behind, just in a fresh start, in a fresh chapter in New York City. That is the most corporate.
That's pretty. That's what it is. Pretty cut and dry.
It's pretty corporate though, Jeff. It's like, man, you guys didn't even try to like razzle dazzle. You know, it's like the next installment.
This installment takes place in. This installment takes place in New York City. Thank you for coming to the show.
See you later, punks. That's what it feels like to me. I'm like, wow, you guys really didn't give a damn about this, did you? Oh,
it's like, yeah, like when you have to write a book report and you forgot and you write it the night before and you were like, this book is good.
Straight out of the cliff
because it is good.
All right, man. So before we go any further,
yeah. Like we reach for that.
Yeah, I haven't done a good one in a while. I was sick the last time. I'm like, it's time for one. One word, Tiff. What do you got for?
All right. My one word.
I'm so interested in this. People, just to interrupt you before you go. I've been really interested. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say decline.
Ain't that a bee?
Yeah, because I wonder what you're gonna say.
No, explain. Why is it a decline?
Because I loved Scream 5.
Yeah.
In parentheses.
Yeah.
I thought it was really good. It was a nice addition to the franchise. This one I feel it loses its footing a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. So it's like, and you know, stuff happens.
Do you
but
think
like,
that's because it was in New York or and out of the
no,
okay.
I don't feel any like I know there are a lot of people had problems with like the fact that Ghostface had used a gun and that it was in a big city, but honestly, they didn't really play with that enough because like in a lot of big franchises, they end up in the city and it's notoriously the worst one. Like Jason Takes Manhattan and any of the Jurassic Parks where they're in the fucking city.
So
you know what I mean? Like
this was the worst one.
If I were to arrange my Scream rankings,
yeah. Now this would be really intrigued. Really,
this would be the worst one. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I think that it is a terrible movie. I think that within the Scream franchise, it's not the best.
All those little goofy ass little Scream movies in the middle there that I didn't even bother to see because I only saw 1 and 2, and then I saw the last one with you. And this, all those were better. Those middle ones.
I think that probably for me they were more in alignment with what a Scream movie is. I don't know, that sounds weird to say, but this movie has made kind of a departure from it in some ways, and that's not a bad thing. But we'll talk about it as we get into the movie. I want to know what your one word is.
My one word is, well, all right. All right.
That's delightful that you liked it kind of, huh?
Oh yeah. You know, with the last one, there was just like shit that just bothered me. You know, there was just like
Sure.
stupid shit. Like that little bitty tiny girl whooping everybody's ass. You know, and I remember I couldn't get over it. I was like, no, wait. Look, it wasn't even like she was like an athletic woman. You know, like what's the woman's name? That's in the Fast and the Furious, the Michelle Rodriguez or something like that. Yes. You know, this was a little tiny little person, and it just bothered me so bad. And so there's things that happen in here that was like, thank you, okay, I'm glad, you know, and you could obviously see when it went down, you was like, yes, of course, you know. And so I like having the kids come back from the other movie, the 4.
Yep, that's
you know, it was just I just liked it so much better, and like this one resonated with me just more because it just I like the surprises that they had in it, and you knew it was a hacker slasher, and I knew it was the last one I watched too, but it just the last one felt really cheap with the cameos that they threw in, you know, and they kind of made fun of that in this movie, and it was like, yeah. So I dug it so much better. So,
but there's cameos in this movie that I just don't think that you get, right? Because you didn't watch all of them.
Well, I knew the one lady, you know, from the very first movie, you know, and she was in it, and you know, then it was one from you know, it was actually 4 or 5 from the last movie, one, you know, so you know, I get that. So I'm fine.
And then the Kirby is from the 4th movie.
She was on the 4th movie, so I just assumed. So yeah, I didn't know who she was.
Anyway,
it's not like the characters resonated in my brain, you know. Just you know,
there actually are like quite a few characters in this movie as well.
It didn't feel so cheap to me as it did the first.
Oh, yeah.
So
maybe you're just getting into your Scream stride. Like this is going to be your Scream.
I don't think so.
A lot of people like a lot of people like episodes 1, 2, and 3 because it was their Star Wars.
I don't. Yeah, well, that's true. Maybe. I don't think so. I mean, I don't love this. You know, in horror movies, hacker slashers are just not my thing. Let's just go spoilers and get into it. It's just not my thing.
Yeah, because we're about to get into it.
You know, like. So the first scene.
Do we want to talk about who? Wait, don't we want to talk about who's starring in this film?
We absolutely. So thank you for holding my cheeks and holding me by the cheeks.
I know because you were like, I'm ready to talk about this movie.
That shit scared the shit out of me.
What the hell was that?
That was the damn trailers just started playing because I'm like,
oh, I thought you were like making me roar like a lion, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. I don't mind that.
Yeah, it's spooky as hell too.
We scared ourselves during this very horror podcast. So the people that star in this movie are Melissa Barrera, that's Sam, and Jasmine Savoy Brown.
Yeah.
Jack Champion, Henry Sersney, Mason Gooding, Roger Jackson, Liana Liberato, Dermot Mulroney.
Who the hell is that?
He was a big. I mean, he was kind of a big star in like the 90s.
Dermot.
Dermot.
No, I know exactly who it is. Yeah.
Dream Mulroney. He's so hot.
He's kind of like
even now.
He look like an old prune now. Get out of here.
Nope, still handsome. I would still. And then I would say Jenna Ortega. I mean, there's a whole bunch of people in this movie. Courtney Cox, Hayden Panettiere.
So that was Wednesday. Okay.
Yes, she was in the first one too.
Yeah, I remember that.
The 5th one.
Yeah, the first reboot, whatever the hell.
Okay.
All right, man. So I think I hit the spoilers early, so it's cool. So anyway, let's get into this thing. So we got a hot date going on, and you know this is the victim. They do this. It's always a lady who gets murdered in the first one, or a girl, but this is a lady. And boy, was she set up like a fool. I just couldn't imagine somebody actually being lured.
I wouldn't
into
do that. Right? No.
I was like
I still can't see you. I'm not gonna go down
because
there.
she's a stranger. You'd be like, you creep. You're not.
Yeah.
You can't find your way to this thing. The booty is leaving. See you later. Click. And I wouldn't have thought for a moment that would have happened.
And I will say that this first killing is
brutality.
Absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. That was one of the things I did say about this film after it was over was that I felt like they were trying. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. There's a lot of survivors of the core cast that make it through the whole movie.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt like some of the brutality of these killings was trying to make up for the fact that was very squishy. It was very marshmallow of the movie to be like, oh, everyone's fine. Everyone made it.
I don't know about that, Tiff. I mean, I might agree with you, but I do like the fact that they didn't just keep doing the same shit with one survivor or two. You know, they didn't do that in the last movie. They had many survivors, but they took their lumps.
Yeah.
And so,
but they had some of the core group went.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm just saying, I'm glad it's kind of like there are no rules at this point. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, yeah, but there's rules.
Yeah. So
then they do talk about how there's no rules. So this lady, they really like. I was surprised.
It was
by
rough.
How. Yeah, I mean, I think that there's been other brutal ones, especially I think in the fifth one there was, but like this one, I remember just being like, it just went on and on.
Yeah, it did. And so then this clown nerd, Flash Thompson from Spider-Man, takes off the mask.
Yes,
and
yes.
And then like quickly, it was no surprise that he was the next victim. You know, it was like, oh, right. Now and which was good for me because I was like, that was so brutal. And the way he talked about it was just like, F this guy, you know. And then he's murdered, and his buddy, they was planning these murders, he's in the refrigerator all cut up and stuff. And
I loved that part of the movie. I was like, at the beginning of this movie, I was like, hell yeah, we're getting into it. So like, because I knew, honestly, I thought he was in the fridge, and I was like, fuck yeah, when he opened it. And I think that this movie does like a good job of, in some ways, even though I might have to reevaluate how I feel about it if I see it again, but like, it makes you think they're subverting expectations, but then they're giving in to expectations and then subverting them by doing that. So it's a little bit confusing because they never reveal Ghostface right away. That's why you know, quote unquote, that wasn't going to be our killer for the movie. But then I like that we were still like, so you thought, well, maybe it's the roommate.
Well, it was so justifiable when he's sitting up there stabbing and talking about, do you feel like meat? Do you,
yeah.
Are you an animal? I was like, good, you bastard. But then I'm like, but this is the real killer.
Yeah. So like, I mean, but then when you like, well, looking back on that now, it does make a lot more sense because it was all for the setup because they're trying to punish Sam.
Yeah. So he's dead. And then like, we got this, you know, I like the Halloween setting. You know, I was like, I love that. You know, I love that this can be a Halloween movie to watch. I love when they do stuff like that. Christmas movie, Halloween. So it's it's heavy Halloween. And they're in New York, and you know, you got the two sisters, and she's in therapy. And the therapist was famous. That dude had been in a bunch of damn movies.
Yeah.
And I can't remember his name. Is it Henry? Henry Kersney. He played Dr. Stone. And what a dick he was, man. He's sitting up there like, yeah, I need to know. And then he was like, get the hell out. It was such bullshit. So she's gone, and they have this thing set up showing that she's like, you know, mama hen to her little sister. Little sister just like want to go out there and party. And boy, oh boy, she got out there and meet the biggest douchebag in the party and was literally about to let him clap the cheeks, Tiff. He was going to clap the cheeks. And everybody like, whoa. I understand you want your cheeks clapped, but you can't let this dude cheek clap.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so this is a year after the traumatic events that happened to them. And I'm not saying that, like, you wouldn't want... I mean, some people deal with trauma in very different ways, including, you know...
Well, she didn't deal with it, which was...
But yeah, she wasn't dealing with it, but I was like, you don't know that that's not a scary man. As a matter of fact, he seems kind of like a scary man. But that's what always happens in Scream. You never know. Who is this? Who's that? It makes you... The brilliance of the Scream franchise, and one of the most... Even in this movie, is... People will be... At the end of a Scream movie, everyone always goes, oh, I knew it was so-and-so.
Yeah.
But that's the brilliance of a Scream movie, is that you could literally guess almost anybody, and you might end up being right, because they cast doubt on every single person. And makes you, as an audience member, question whether or not what you understand in your rules of a horror film or what you are bringing to this film are accurate.
Yeah, and
that's a brilliant twist for that.
And it works. It works. Especially in this movie, it worked. So, you know, they should, the girl throw, when that girl threw that shit at that girl, Tiff, she threw that drink on that girl.
Yeah,
her internet ass. Ain't no in the world you'd have walked away from that. Yes, your ass. I'm kicking your ass. So that happens, and like there's a big murder on the campus, and so now immediately the oldest sister snaps into action. Let's go, and the little sister's like, no, and I'm just like,
well, because it's a ghost-faced murder. It wasn't like it was just like somebody died.
Of course, and what I liked about it is that, like, you know, let me call my dad, and then like, you know, her driver's license is
all this shit is part of what makes me forgive this movie, because it is very well, like,
Yes, I thought it was,
while you're watching
well
it,
done. I thought it was well done.
yeah, while you're watching it, you are not necessarily clocking that these things would be nefarious, but when you look back on it from knowing the ending, you're like, oh, that would have been what you would have done.
But let me tell you something, Tiff. Right from the beginning,
Yes.
I knew
Yes.
the hot, not really hot, but hot for the movie people,
The
dude
se-
across
the-
the street, across the.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I knew he was not one of them. The whole time, I had no danger that he was one of them, because,
yeah.
of course, he would be one if you were a not smart director or writer. You know what I'm saying? It was like, I had no danger that he was in it. Especially with his attitude, like, look, don't trust me, shit.
Yeah, when he said,
girl.
don't trust me, I automatically started trusting him.
And he was like, oh,
He was like, don't trust anybody.
don't trust them either. And so, they they called them in, and then when the girl came, who was supposed to be the FBI, I was like, she's not FBI. Look what she got.
Hey,
Look,
Tier, that's Kirby.
yeah,
That's
Kirby.
the-
I was
that's
like,
from
they don't
that is
dress like
from
that. Only in the
Scream 4. But I mean, like, and honestly, I do think that one of the things that, like, is a nice kind of, like when you make a cake and you fuck it up a little bit and it's lopsided, but you put frosting on it,
Yeah.
so like nobody can tell.
Yeah.
One of the frosting techniques of Scream, which is brilliant, is that you never know if the corny, stupid shit that they're doing is in reference to corny, stupid horror movie tropes.
That is true, because that kind of
So you're like,
horror. I
is-
see that.
right.
Yeah, but I
you-
was like, look what she got on. She got on collar
Yeah, she was
boots
like-
and the leather coat. I was like, that ain't FBI.
that had like chains
I
on the bottom
know.
of it. I was like, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
If you're running from somebody, you're going to get grabbed.
Yeah, so quickly the roommate gets murdered, and that whole thing with that was the best sequence in this whole movie. But I don't know how you.
When they're trying to escape the apartment, or when he's trying
The
to get their
roommate is
attention.
getting, and the dude is like hollering, and then she's not
Yeah.
answering the phone, and he's, then they get the ladder, and I said, oh, there's somebody going. First of all, them two chicks is bloody. I don't even see how the black gal made it across with her arm being slashed.
Arm
and,
was cut real bad. Yeah.
And then the one girl gets on there, and I'm like, Sweet Pea,
I thought,
go ahead.
okay, I thought her guts were going to fall out.
It should have. That was bad.
Because she got stabbed in the guts really bad.
And twist and pulled up.
Yes, she wasn't going to make it. I didn't even think she was going to make it through the room. But then when she's on the ladder and they're shaking her,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, her guts are going to fall out. That's what I was thinking. But then they didn't. She just fell
Now, in
on the ground.
hindsight, Tiff, all she should have done was locked her ass on that ladder. And once it pushed over, they could have just held the ladder. But she.
Yeah, and they should have pulled it away from the window while she held on to it.
But,
I mean, she would have gotten really hurt, but she would have survived.
in a panic,
potentially survived.
I guess what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to survive this type of situation because I'm already scared.
Yeah.
I got to crawl across that ladder. It's not going to happen because I'm scared.
Right. So, she's dead. The cop comes out. His daughter dead. He's like, I'm on the team. And I'm like, yeah, he should be on the team. His daughter died because I didn't see this stuff coming, Tiff. He's on the team now. Gail comes up. She gets punched. And, we, they set this trap that didn't happen. The crook is too smart because they find his lair with all that shit. I don't know, Tiff. I think I would have lighted. I think I would have did the Angela Bassett and just poured some gasoline and burnt that damn place up with all the.
Yeah, whatever was happening in there wasn't right because my surmise would have been that there were several people doing this.
Yes,
and you wouldn't be able to trust anybody.
Tiff. You know what I thought? I thought it was going to be a scene where all of those ghost faces was going to have people in it, and it was all like all of them going to come out there. I would have burnt that shit up and been arrested for arson.
But like, I also think that like, and even that made sense because he was a cop, so he would have been able to get that stuff. Supposedly,
not really. He wouldn't have because you work.
I know,
here,
but more
you don't work all over.
It would be more likely that he would be able to get it than just a random.
But
person.
it was supposed to be Flash Thompson's and his buddies. Is what it was supposed to do. So they were going to set a trap. Gail found it, and Kirby set it up, and it was on. Right? They come on.
They made a kill cage.
Yeah, they made it a kill cage, and you knew it was going to backfire. So my second favorite scene is that the subway scene when they went down the subway.
Oh yeah, that had such great tension.
Never went down on the subway. We gonna get an Uber. Okay, we gonna call an Uber, and when the Uber show up, we all gonna get in this sucker, you know, and you're gonna take us. I ain't know in hell I would have went down to the subway, especially in New York, especially if everybody was into Halloween like that. You know what I'm saying? All those
wearing the ghost face mask.
hell no.
Because people are. Here's the thing. Okay, I have a lot to say about this.
Okay,
one being that, like, you. Okay, they did mention that you should try to remain as public transport as possible. Because imagine if you got into the Uber, it would be Ghostface. There's nowhere you're gonna go, or they're not gonna give you a Ghostface area.
Kirby wasn't there.
Kirby wasn't there.
Okay.
It was just the core four.
Can we go get some core guns? What are we doing? What are we doing?
Plus the one guy. And so they are going to get. I thought the tension building in this scene was so great because you think as a human being who isn't tasteless that if a gruesome murder had just occurred, people wouldn't dress up like that for Halloween, but they would, and they do.
Of course they would.
So
because it got more famous because we skipped, but it's fine. It got more famous because he went in there with that gun, and that was brutal, killing everybody in that bodega. You know,
yeah.
Oh my God, that was one of the most. There had a lot of intense scenes in here. And that's why
there was a lot of intense scenes.
Yeah.
I do think there could have been some trimming, but that's not a bad thing. So like I said, even saying that this isn't my favorite Scream movie doesn't mean that it's not like a fun horror film, right? Yeah. So when they get onto the train, I was like legitimately feeling anxious.
I don't know why she moved
all of the Ghostface.
Because I would have been like, "Your ass gonna stay right here. I'm looking at you. You looking at me. I'm looking at you. You looking at me." I wouldn't have been like moved away from him.
Her suspect.
Her suspect. Yeah, no, we're gonna stay right here. Look, you make a move, I'm gonna stab you. Because here's another thing that bothers me: that y'all didn't even walk around with butcher knives. You know, the one.
Yeah, they didn't have any protection.
Nothing. You got killers coming after you. Go buy some tasers. I know it's New York; it's hard to come by, but shit.
Well, she had a taser.
The one girl had a taser. They all should have had.
But she didn't bring it with her. She didn't bring her with her.
We tased them in the nuts, and then that's it. You know, no more taser. You know, and so I'm mad that they wasn't even trying to remotely on the basic level. Their protection was each other. But every time somebody come in the room, y'all all go ah! Everyone take off that way. You know,
Montego's so enthusiastic. He punched his microphone.
So, you know, back to the kill box, man. So, you know, the reveal.
This I thought was actually quite brilliant because, like I said, in every Scream movie, they try to make you think it's someone.
So tough.
And then it isn't or is not. They think it's Kirby.
So they thought it was Kirby and she got shot up, right? And so then, but I like before they entered, they were over there by the snacks. And the obvious female character jumped out like, ha ha. And the brother was like, pop, 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 pop. I mean, he pieced her ass up several times. And I was like, as he should. I mean, you can tell that she was female, unlike the other movie where it looked like she was a male, and then when they took off the mask, it's a skinny little lady, and like she's going toe to toe with all these men. No, she got effed up, you know, and got up with a smile, like, no, you got your bell rung. That dude beat your ass. But then they stabbed the dude, you know.
Ooh, yeah,
pretty brutal.
See, this is the point of the part of the movie where, like, and I, you know. That's part of my problem.
Yeah, I think it's all coming together at this point. I'm like, it's all coming together, you know?
Yes, it comes together really well. There's no doubt about it.
Okay.
The survival of all of these people who have had that guy really got it.
Dude, it was
like the fact that he made it out. Yeah. I just don't believe that. So it's a little bit too, like I'm saying, too marshmallow for me. There should have been, but we don't know. Maybe he's going to be the next Ghostface. We don't know how this affects our future Scream franchise film.
I like the fact that he made it out. I just did.
Well, you want him to. I like him. He's probably one of. He's more like the heart, right? He's the heart of the film. Besides, maybe the barely new boyfriend was quite sweet.
Yeah. And he didn't even hesitate when she shooed him away. She's like, "You're not Woodsboro." He was like, "All right, baby, I got your back."
But to be fair, if you even peripherally touch these people, you're doomed, right?
That's true.
Like everybody who's ever been to Scream, I was just best friends with them in 3rd grade. You're dead.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So they're in this room, and it's kind of great because it has all of these.
Ooh, the sister get what? She get all the teeth knocked out of her head at one time.
Oh my God, when she got
dead.
shot. I thought she was dead for sure. But then, that might not. What I like about this shrine to the ghost faces is that it is very nice for like potentially the last movie, because the 7th film isn't confirmed. That would be like a great way to be like, this is our history, this is how we got here. But also it made sense because in the previous movie, that character, Jack Quaid, I can't remember his name, I'm having a brain fart, he loved the Stab films and the Scream.
Yeah.
Not the Scream films, but the whole Woodsboro tragedies. He was like obsessed with them. So it would make sense they would have all this stuff. It would make sense that his cop dad could get it. It would make sense that his cop dad would want revenge after he saw what happened.
Let me say something though.
Yeah.
Billy Loomis sequence, as in the last movie.
God.
One, you guys are not Marvel. That de-aging looks terrible.
Bad.
And it was totally unnecessary. If you wanted to do anything,
You could have just had the voice.
You could have just had the voice. We didn't need. Stop it with that bullshit. I'm like, this bullshit doesn't work. I don't like it. Stop it. They did it in the first movie. It looked bad. It's y'all don't have the technology. Y'all don't have the money. And then they did it again, and I was like, oh God, why do you look? Put it in her head, and call it a day.
Yeah, or like he's in the glass.
Yeah.
That's where she's teased
so
him.
they're trying to hide the bad
But they could have made it even more so. It should have been like her looking at herself in the reflection, thus wearing the hood.
Herself could have talked to you, right?
And then it could have been like him talking, and you would hear it. I mean, like we all know who's talking when it's that voice.
Exactly. So bugged me. It bugged me that they even did it. So that really
it does take you out a little bit of the movie just because it looks so bad.
Yep, it took me out, really did. And so I'm glad they didn't like linger on it and keep doing it, because they did it quite a bit in the last movie, and I was like,
they did
bullshit, So this like final like vault with fighting the 3 ghost faces, I dug it because people was getting effed up, man.
And they were all very menacing. Obviously, there was like
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How the boy survived with the knife in his back of it, in his mouth and twisted and shit, and then he went around the corner.
But how did that one guy survive after being mincemeat, and that one girl survive after being stabbed several times? It's just
when they threw the TV on top of her head.
That's just the way that's just the way it goes in horror films. Sometimes is that our
and she stabbed the shit out of Jerry, right? I was like, where's she stabbed him?
Yeah,
he had a bulletproof vest on, but I guess she was getting him in all the
and then
and stuff, and
on the arms and stuff.
I just knew she was gonna get like blamed for this whole thing when it was over with. I was like, her.
Yeah, we don't see what happens after. Like, I mean, we do see them outside, but I still think that like this woman who had been why she dropped that mask right there in plain sight on the floor. Somebody. Oh my God!
Somebody go pick the mask up.
Yeah, of course. That's a great Scream ending. That's a great Scream ending.
Police evidence locked.
They'd be like, have you been doing this the whole time? Because we've got a dead cop inside,
right.
And you have been implicated in several murders where we have no evidence that anyone else did it. So we're going to take you down to the police station, and we're probably not going to let you go.
Right? Your ass about to go to jail for a while. You better get a good lawyer.
You might get off, but you're going to go to jail for a little while unless you post, bail. But I love that this scene makes sense to me. That the father. Even like the weird foreshadowing that you don't realize is foreshadowing when she says, my brother died and my dad was never the same. He followed me to New York.
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Yeah, he loves you.
Yeah.
And so
the cat just clawed my damn thigh. Get your ass away from me. Oh my
goodness. He just loves you so much. I think that like that, the fact that even though it is silly and even though you're like, okay, that's kind of dumb or whatever you might think, because there are a lot of things about horror movies. Often the reveal in a horror movie, especially like kind of a popcorn horror movie, which is Scream is often referencing, does have that kind of an ending where you're like, oh, of course.
I was
and that's not a bad
satisfied with this reveal.
Yeah.
And the climactic fight. I dug it. I love the little zippity zip all around this little place and where they were at. And it was satisfying to me. And I was like, I remember I finished the movie and I was like, all right. I was like, finally, one since the first one that really resonated with me. Because even the second one really didn't resonate with me. With was it Timothy Oliphant?
I like too.
Was the what you call him? But I mean, it was just okay to me. But there was nothing like the scene where have the other killer ever resurfaced? Like, he was funnier to me. You cut me too deep, Billy. That.
Well, yeah, that's why he's not the real. He wasn't the real driving force of the original duo.
Bring him back.
He was a dude.
Bring him back.
I really liked the Jamie Kennedy character. Was always like one of my favorites. So when he got it in the second movie, I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy his character. But that kind of character was replaced by the girl,
the sister,
the girl.
Yep. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who kind of delivers her speech on horror movie franchises.
Who deserves to get murdered just from that stupid ass speech in the y'all just went through some super trauma and now she's monologuing and I'm like, this is bullshit. I would punch her in her stomach and tell her to sit her ass down somewhere and chill. We having trauma right now and you're like, Watson and with the pipe in the closet. Will you sit down and stop being so goofy and shit? So
gotta be it. Gotta have it in a Scream movie. Plus, it's playing on the tropes. So here we go.
I could do without that.
I know you didn't like that in the other movie either, but those are some of my favorite parts. But like, I would not recommend this movie. I just love Scream.
Well, I don't love Scream, and I had a great time.
I know you don't.
I had a great time, so it's a total recommend for me, and so there we go.
Yeah.
So that's for me. It was I enjoyed this much better than the first movie because it just had a little bit more going on for it. So anyway, man, that's it, man. We can't do the damn thing. We got it done. So that's Scream 6. Is it going to be a Scream 7 next year? I don't know.
Who knows? Yeah. We don't know.
Yeah, don't blow. Y'all should probably chill. Maybe a year and a half. Don't come out with them so soon. People get tired of you. Anyway, act Star Wars. Right? So I'm the host of Fan Patrol. My name is Montego. With me is my wonderful co-host, Miss Tifflebot. Say goodbye to the lovely Tiff.
It's been a pleasure as always.
Indeed. And until next week, man, I think we're doing Shazam. So, yeah. This looks like...
Oh, my God. Yeah. There you go. It's tagline for Shazam.
Oh, my goodness. There you go. Until next week, man, we will be on
Patrol.